It feels like a nightmare. Every time I remember that this is who's in the White House.
The first thing I thought about when Trump announced that he was going to terminate DACA was my mother.
When the president tweeted about transgender service no longer being wanted or needed in this country, it definitely hit a low point.
With every Islamophobic comment, with every attempt at the Muslim ban, it really feels as if I am losing bits and pieces of my dignity.
There's a sense of hopelessness within my people.
My 2017 was fierce.
It was a roller coaster.
It was exhausting, but empowering.
Agonizing.
The best year of my life.
This is my 2017.
Access to healthcare is the difference between life and death for my son. My son was born with 9 congenital heart defects, 2 left lungs, 5 spleens. There will never be a day when my son will not rely on medical care to keep him with us. Every time that the president gets up and says, we're gonna kill the ACA, it's basically him saying to me, we're gonna kill your kid.
When I first heard President Trump's tweets, my reaction was shock and wonder of where is this coming from? And our next action was figure out what we need to do. We need to go back to work. We need to work hard, put on our uniforms, and continue to show our value as the ready and lethal force that our country and our military deserves.
I'm from the Sisseton, Wahpeton, Lake Travis Reservation. The days leading up to the inauguration, we were really well aware of what was going to happen when he got into office and actually was capable of doing something. He is just like going crazy in there, signing things away as much as he possibly can without actually having the knowledge of what it is that he's doing. We just had an oil spill here outside of the Lake Travis Reservation, and our water is going to be jeopardized.
I felt scared. How am I going to tell my mother that the only relief for her children will now be taken away by a racist? As you have heard him say before, he loves the Dreamers. We're waiting for him to protect immigrant youth. By ending DACA, that's not a sign of love. By terrorizing our community, by trying to build a wall, by getting more ICE agents, that's not a sign of love. That is a sign of hate.
Most of my extended family is actually living in Iran, and I haven't seen them in about 10 years. The process to get my uncle a visa took about 14 years in total, and he finally got his interview scheduled around the same time that the first Muslim ban hit. I was also planning my wedding at the same time, and I was really hoping that at least one member of my family from Iran could attend, but it didn't work out ultimately. It was quite traumatic.
I call my senators and my elected officials multiple times a week. There's rarely a day that goes by that I'm not doing something.
We've been to so many rallies. I don't have a number. I want to say more than 100 for sure.
It can get exhausting, I'm not gonna lie. It can feel like ineffectual. But if I wasn't fighting, I think I would probably lose my mind.
One of the biggest fears that I have for 2018 is complacency. There's an ability that Americans have to think that things don't affect them as long as it's not within 5 feet of anything in front of them.
I'm afraid that we've become numb to a lot of the terrible things that this administration is doing.
Local elections will start popping up, and my biggest fear is for the DREAM Act to be drowned out.
More so than the people that are already in, I'm worried for the people that are attempting to get into the military. There are a lot of people that are transgender that want to serve, and they deserve that right to do so and that opportunity to serve their country.
I would love to spend 2018 breathing, not constantly worried about whether I'm gonna lose my house and lose my child and lose everything.
Ever since Trump became president, I knew that my community had ignited, my community was there to fight back, and my community was gonna make change happen.
What ultimately makes me feel safe in this country is that I remember that there are good people, like those thousands and thousands of people who showed up at the airports to push back against the ban. There are people who are willing to put their necks on the line to stick up for people who are marginalized.
We are all in this together in this country. Politics are always personal. It's not an option to sit back and not be involved anymore.
The president may have actually done us a favor in the long term by tweeting this, because once our story started getting out there, public opinion changed.
Regardless of the president, regardless of anything that has happened to me so far, I have hope.